Welcome back, everybody, to another Game Dev Daily. Number 35 today, February the 26th. I think we're probably not on track for hitting 40 this month, but I'll just on February being a shorter month and not the fact that I missed days. Let's see, I think we're probably gonna... How many days I got left? 2 more. Probably only gonna get in 1 more daily this month then. What's the day today? Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Yeah, I will stream tomorrow night, but not the following. So we'll get to 36. 36 in 2 months. Which, hey, it's not that bad. Alright, let's pull up. I need to turn my own volume down a bit. I kind of want to lower this a little bit, maybe. I think it's my Chrome slider can't go any lower. Can I turn it down here? Alright, hopefully that's a little better. I lowered the volume a bit. My music's always like a little on the loud side, I think. Because I have to keep it right at the bottom of the volume wheel. The volume slider. Alright, anyway. Okay. let's actually hop into it, shall we? Enough of a preamble. Okay, so... What did we do last time? Last time, I managed to... get the camera working in a manner that I'm actually really happy with. Like for a starting attempt at the camera, I am really happy with how the camera works now. It's not perfect by any means, but it travels fairly smoothly. I definitely think going from having it be like it's just trying to play catch up to the player was the way to go. And then of course we have a little bit of like camera leaning based on what direction the player's looking in. So we can turn around on the spot and the camera will like pan to that direction. And honestly, this like bobbing thing the player does, I mean not the player, the camera does when you like turn around is kind of growing on me as well. So I think we've got it in a pretty good spot now. Alright, so there was a couple of things I wanted to work on today that we discussed yesterday, and we're going to start with the one that I did say I was going to work on first, which was the parallaxing. So, I want to make a parallax script. I'm going to pull up Visual Studio really fast. It's going to be really, really basic. I think I won't put it in UI, I'll just leave it here for now. I'll just make it at the top level. I'll copy the camera script just because it's faster to do it like this. And I want this to be... I'm just going to call it parallax. Alright, and I actually don't need like most of this stuff. So we're going to parallax things based on where the camera is, I guess. So anything that's being parallaxed kind of needs a reference to the camera in the scene. So I can get rid of all these private variables now. I'm going to have one serialized field, but I'll figure out what I'm going to put in it. So we've got to start, we've got a fixed update. Let's figure out what we're going to put in these. Okay, so what is kind of our approach for this? First of all, it's going to complain. Okay. Let's drop that. Hold on, my Windows is freaking out a little bit. Okay, fixed it. All right, so like I want to put the parallaxing on some of these layers, like these layer parent objects basically, and that's going to move everything inside of it. Now, parallax script's going to sit here, and yeah, I think it has to be based on the camera. That makes the most sense, because that's like where the player is viewing it from. So it should be based on where the camera is, so we do need a reference to the camera. Now, currently the camera just sits at the top level, so we can just find it. Okay, so I need to start by having a private camera script that's just called camera. And then in the start function, we're going to say camera is equal to find, retrieves any active object of the loaded type. I don't know if we can find, I mean, let's try and see if we can do it. Find objects of type. I'm going to try and look for camera. Find object of type is being deprecated. Use object.find first object by type instead. Okay, let's try that then. Camera.find first object by type. This is strange. I then also have to specify that I'm looking for a camera. Okay, this is what it wants, I think. Find first object by type camera. And then, can I pass anything into this? No. Find first object by type. Here as well. Find objects inactive. What is this? Options control whether object find functions return inactive objects. Okay, sure. All right, we don't need to worry about that. I'm going to rename this script to Parallax. I assume that's how you spell parallax, but I'll be honest, I can't say that I have spelt it that often. Fun fact, Parallax was like a really old, like kids kids live action TV show in Australia. Which I definitely watched when I was younger. It was very like weird and fantasy focused is all I remember about it. Parallax.camera hides inherited member component.camera. Use the new keyword if hiding was intended. Private member parallax.camera can be removed if the value assigned to it is never read. Hides inherited member component.camera. It wants me to do is equal to new camera. No. Okay, I don't know what it's complaining about here. So our camera is going to have a position, which is good. Now, all we really need to do is we need to move the object by some factor based on the camera. Right? That's basically all we're doing. So I guess I want start position. Private float. Start pos. Maybe I'll make it a vector too. The thing is, I don't really want to parallax vertically at the moment, but I might want to do it later. I think for now I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just gonna parallax left to right. There's definitely like, you could imagine like vertical segments where you want vertical parallaxing, but for now I'm not going to worry about it. Private float start position. Start pos is equal to camera.transform.position.x. It still complains about this. That doesn't look right at all. Are there any classes where I reference... I need a class where I reference the player. Because this is just not how I imagine this should look. Protected player. Players equal game object.get component player. Why does it care here? Hides inherited member. Component.camera. Oh, there's a camera member on mono behavior. Okay, well, this inherits from behavior. So let's take a look at that. And this inherits from component. And this inherits from object. And object is the base. Okay, I don't know where it... Apparently I am inheriting a camera. Hold on. No? What? Okay, I don't know. Component.camera. Wait, so if I go deep enough, do I get to component? One behavior, component. And in component, there is presumably a camera. Oh, I can't edit this code because it's just decompiled. Public component camera here. Camera property has been deprecated. They deprecated it. And yet I still get errors about it because it's on the component thing. Alright, well, I'm just going to ignore this error then. There's a way to, like, suppress it, right? Yeah, I don't care. I mean, that looks ugly as shit. I'll just leave it with the error. It's fine. It's a warning anyway. Doesn't really matter that much. Okay, camera, find first object by type camera. We're going to get it. We're going to set our start position to the X position of the camera when we spawn. And now we want to do parallaxing based on the camera's position. So every fixed update, the camera's going to move. And if the camera moves, we want to parallax. So we want to say... So when I say transform dot position is equal to u vector 3, and it's not start position because that would be dumb as shit. The x, the y for now is just going to be the same y value. Transform dot position dot y. Same with the z. Transform dot position dot z. Now the x position is where we're actually doing math, right? So the x position is going to be some function based on the gap between our start position and the current position. So if I want to see if I have the camera and I subtract the start position, I should get a positive. So it's going to be camera. Sorry, it's going to be... It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be the camera. Camera dot transform dot position dot x minus... Oh, am I translating it then? No, I don't think so. Start position. Dot. Oh, that just is the X value. Well, then I do want to translate it in this case. But that's not quite what I want. So I want the value to be set to... Okay, hold on. I need to draw this real fast. So, alright, imagine, let's say that this is my camera, right? It's this. In fact, I'm just going to use a circle. This is where the camera is to start, yeah? It looks like that. And you have like, let's just say I have like one background tree, yeah? Here's my background tree. Now, if my camera moves all the way to here, so it's here now. Then the tree should have been moved left by some proportion, right? If the camera moves right, or is the tree meant to move right? No, it moves left. It absolutely moves left. It's meant to move left by some like percentage of that distance. And the amount it moves is based on this distance. So it's like it's this distance divided by some factor, right? Distance divided by factor. Like, that's basically what we're doing. Oh my god. The bots. Alright, so that's what we're looking for. But it's based on our initial position. And we're going to go in the opposite direction of where the camera moved. So I can either calculate this every single frame based on the starting position, or I can check every frame. I can just get a new position and track it like that. I can get the previous position and then just translate by an amount. Let's do the static version first. So the question is, how am I getting this amount? Well, I want the distance, right? Let's just say var distance is equal to... Well, I know what that is. It's this value, right? So this is how far the camera has traveled from its starting position. Now, that's great and all. I need camera transformed of position.x minus start position. Is that distance? So then I need to move the object. The object's position should be based off its initial position plus the distance divided by the factor. Right. Which means I would also need a camera start position, which is actually this. And then the start pos. Maybe I don't really like this solution, but whatever. Let's get this one working first, and then we can edit it if we want. .x. Okay, and then where are we going to? Well, we're going to go to start position plus distance divided by parallax factor. Private float, which is going to be called parallax factor, I guess I'll say. And I guess I'll give it a default of, I don't know what's going to be reasonable for this. It's going to be like really reduced. Let's say like 100. I mean, of course it's going to change. Like this value needs to be different for every background scenery object. But I'll leave it at 100 to start. Now what I want to do is... How easy is it going to be for me to see this in Unity is the question. Okay, I've set it all up. I'm going to apply it. I'm going to stick it on... I'm going to start by sticking it on the first set of trees, which are not actually going to have parallaxing on them. But I'm going to put it on them for now. Just because I think they're going to be the most obvious to be able to see it working, if it is working. Can I click start? Like, I can't even tell if they are moving. Oh, they are. There you go. So maybe 100 is like too much then. Let's be like really excessive then. Let's go 10, because now it should be really obvious. Yeah, you can see them moving. They're also moving in the wrong direction. It actually needs to be negative. So it should actually be divided by negative parallax factor. Or let's say... I guess I can just do minus distance divided by parallax factor. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Because you want to parallax in the opposite direction. Yo, how's it going, Julian? What's up? We are parallaxing currently the foreground, but obviously this is supposed to be the background. But I just wanted to see it working first. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take this script off now. And we're going to dump it on these ones. So I'm going to have both layer 24 and layer 25 have the same parallax. And I'm going to start by giving them... So things that are further away have a bigger factor. Which means there'll be a lower number. Which means things that are close should have a smaller number. I'm going to start by giving this like 50. Same with this. I'm going to kind of play around with it a bit. And then the background ones, I'll give... Yeah, it looks way better with the shading for sure. We're going to give these ones like 30. And we'll see how this looks. The thing is, I need to spawn my player up the top now though. Otherwise you're not even going to be able to see the parallaxing like at all. Zoop. The camera's just chilling down here now. I guess the camera can go literally anywhere now, like it doesn't matter. Why can't I... Yeah, there it is. I guess I'll just put it at 0, 0. I need to leave it at Z negative 100 though. Or I need to leave it at some negative Z value. Okay, the camera should actually probably start attached to the player. Alright, is the parallaxing... I mean, I think it is happening. It's just hard to see. But it doesn't need to be super noticeable anyway. You can see it here. Or like peeks out. You can like see the sky behind. But like... Yeah, I guess it doesn't need to be super noticeable. It's kind of hard to tell when you have a moving camera as well. I wonder like how much parallaxing you can give it before it starts looking like really weird. Like you can notice it like here, right? Like it's super obvious that these have like staggered and so have like the background trees here. So like if I zoom out, like this is the difference between here and like all the way over there. I don't know what infinite parallaxing is, I'll be honest. I'm also, right now, going to see if I can add an outline to my chat box text. You can get pretty aggressive with it? Okay, I'll give that a try then. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Infinite, like it'll loop if you go far enough to the side. Oh, it like zips back? Oh, that's interesting. I guess you'd have to have like, that would only work with like tiled backgrounds though, right? Like you need it to loop into itself. So it needs to be tiled, yeah? Can I just add an outline to my chat? Font color, font size. I'm guessing I can add custom HTML, but it sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, it only works with tiled. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And I really can't just like put an outline on the font. I probably just need a different colored background then. You can actually read the text. It's like my screen background is like, it's too light where the chat box is. It's just hard to read. Anyway, that's fun. I won't mess around with that right now. Okay, what are we doing? One thing I wanted to do... I kind of want to... So, like, the camera kind of has to start near the player, or it does the thing where it jumps to the player when you start the scene. Like this. It's doing that because it's, like, moving towards where the player is. But I can't, like, put it under the player because then it will... I guess I just have to spawn it near the player. It's a little annoying, I guess. But, sure. I can just do this manually. And then I just have to make sure that if I'm moving one, I'm moving them around together. Like, that's all. What is this event system? Am I using this for anything? I don't think so. I'm kind of worried to delete it in case it's been here for like forever and it's actually doing something. Should probably find out what the event system does. Drag threshold 10. Okay, I don't know. Anyway. I'm gonna move the player, I just have to move it together with the camera. Which is fine. Hard set the... Oh, actually I so can do that. Fair enough. That's way better. These target vectors I don't want to use, but I can just do it in the start. Transform dot position is equal to player dot transform dot position. Is there any advantage to using the awake over the start function, Julian? You like double check what this actually does. Script instances being loaded as opposed to before any of the update methods is called. So awake is literally only... Isn't this basically the same thing? Oh, this... So if I have multiple instances of the script, will this only get called once? But start gets called once per script instance? Anyway, I'll leave it in the start for now, but I can move it later, I guess. And so now I should be able to just leave it off screen, right? And it'll jump and it should snap to me. I always forget that I need to not set the Z. I hate how there's no way to just access only the XY values. Like I have to make a vector 3. It's so annoying. I mean, there probably is a way to do it, I just don't know how. There we go. That'll fix that issue at least. Oh, the object's disabled. Right, okay, gotcha. Problem is now there's like so many gaps in my background scenery now. Like I kind of made the scenery so that there wasn't any gaps in the background. Like, you know, you can't see into the back. But as soon as I add parallaxing, all of them like go out of sync and you can see the gaps. Which probably just means I need like another extra layer of background behind, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it looks fine. It's not that big a deal. Oh, actually, no. The issue is that the parallaxing is based on my camera's start position. Maybe I don't like this. The parallaxing is based on... Because it gets the... Okay, this is still not going to work how I want it to. Because I made the parallaxing dependent on where the camera starts. Because, like, now it'll look way less aggressive. Yeah. Maybe that just means I need to do the parallaxing differently. I mean, I could make the parallaxing dependent on player movement. I think it just makes more sense for it to be based on where the camera is. The thing is, if I start with the camera off... I mean... I don't know. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I'm probably going to move past this for now. I'm not too worried about it. So next thing we're going to do is... I want to add bounding boxes to the camera. Probably what I'm going to spend the rest of the daily doing. So I want to be able to basically define a bounding box for the scene that the camera should not be able to... that basically stops the camera from moving past it. And I don't know how easy that's gonna be. Basically, if the camera would go inside of a bounding box, it remains outside. And I'm really contemplating how we want to handle this. Like, am I just gonna make empty game objects? Like, okay, okay, here's my first thought, right? I have an empty game object that just sits in the middle of the scene, and all it has is just a bunch of box colliders in it. And these box colliders are just the size of the stage. Or, like, they're portions where I don't want the camera to be able to go through. So, like, the camera shouldn't be able to go, like, under this much. And if it is under this much, it gets pushed up. If it hits this trigger, right? But... it's kind of... I have to like tag every box with like a different layer then, right? Like I'm gonna have like a floor box and a ceiling box and a left box and a right box. So that like if it's inside a floor box, then pop it up out of the floor box. So how do you check if you're inside a hitbox? I gotta figure that out as well. Because currently I know that box casting doesn't register things if you start the box cast inside the hitbox. Could clamp the camera position. Elaborate. What does that mean? So I guess like a brief explanation of what I went through yesterday. Why can this be simplified? Huh. You can just do that, huh? Oh, whatever. Oh, actually, I just got rid of this entirely anyway. I'm not using it. Okay, what we do is every frame or every fixed update, we check where the player is and we move some percentage towards them. Technically, we're not actually going directly to the player. We're going to our target position. And the target position is typically going to be off-center from the player. Clamping the final position result between a minimum and maximum so it doesn't dip below a certain level. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Julian. I kind of want to be able to make it so that I can, like, lay out these kind of bounding boxes in the Unity editor. So that I don't have to manually set these values every time. So like basically like what I was doing here, right? Like I want to be able to just like really quick and easy, just like add a bunch of box colliders. And, you know, and even then it's crap because if you want the colliders to be tagged differently, you have to make child objects for it. But I want some method like that. It's just like, where do I allow the camera to follow the player and where does it get blocked? Like it sounds like there's quite a lot of complexity to this actually. To get it to be like really dynamic, right? Because okay, I'm thinking about like this, even just this particular level, right? Like let's say there's like a bounding thing here, right? And like it locks the camera at like this height. So the player's down the bottom here. What happens when I like get to this pit, yeah? If I want the player to be able to jump into the pit, it's really difficult to just be like, oh, and then the player's allowed to go, like the camera's allowed to follow the player down here. Because it's gonna be like clipping my bounding boxes. I can have a script. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I can define zones, right? I can add a box collider, and I can define a zone. Wait, let me get rid of this. Where is... Oh yeah, here's this box collider, right? So I could define a zone. Like, let's say as long as my player, and it's my like it's the center of my player or the camera, like whichever. Why can't I edit this? Why are you a pain in the ass? 2020. You're still not gonna let me see the box collider. Unity, hello. Can I look at it? Let me just remove it and add a new one. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I forgot to close VS. It's alright. I can't see anything in Unity anyway. My box collider is just not showing. I have to zoom out really far. Is it because the game object's really big, maybe? 0, 0. Like, why does it just disappear? Hello? Can I, like, reload the scene? I mean, at this point, I think I'm just gonna make a new game object. It's just getting on my nerves. Okay, I can see it now, right? Alright, I don't know. My object was just buggy as shit. So I can, like, define an area like this. And, like, whenever the player is in this area, the Y camera... Oh, but that's not even gonna work either. Like, I can have a... Okay, so I guess there's two types of camera manipulation I can do. I can have, like, a static camera value. So, like, let's say if I'm ever inside this zone, the Y value of my camera has a set, it's just a set value. So if you're ever in this, it will always be at, like, this height. And the moment that you jump out of this zone, it's allowed to, like, follow the player up or whatever, right? Like, that's one option, is that you set it to be static. What I really want to do for, like, the floor instance, though, is I want to make it so that it's not a set height, but there's just a minimum height it can be. Which I guess I can define the min height in this bounding box as well. If I define a minimum height of the camera, because, like, the idea would be that, like, okay, well, once you get past this box, right, and you go off the edge, there's no longer a min height, and the camera pans down, and it can, like, follow you down the hole, or something like that. I think that might be a little jank, but I could also extend it like this. So it's like once you drop down past here, then the min height lowers. And, like, all this would just be determined by, like, I'd have, like, a camera, like, some kind of script that sits on this object that applies to this box collider. I guess it doesn't, it sits on this object, and it just, like, so I could have minimum values, or I could have a set value if I only ever want it to be, while you're in this, the value is just set to this. Then I can play around with minimum values versus absolute values. I think it'll work. I think it'll take a little bit of getting used to, but I think it'll work. So what I'm actually gonna do is make an empty object called, I'm just gonna call it, like, camera bounds. And then any bounding I want to do is gonna sit inside this object. So this object sits inside that. And I'm gonna actually increase this box collider by even more. I'll have it like this. And then let's drag the player down with the camera just for reference. So if my play is here, this is currently approximately the camera size. It's like this. So I probably want the camera to lock here. Meaning this, the center of my screen, is where I would at least expect the minimum to go to. So yeah, this is, like, well within the center. So let's just try this to start and see if we can get this to work. So I need to make a script. We're gonna hop back into Visual Studio. I'm gonna have another script called camera bounds. I'll just call it camera bound. Okay, and camera bound is gonna have a bunch of serialized fields. It doesn't need, like, any of this crap. What do I really care about? Nothing. It's just gonna have values sitting on it. Yeah, it literally doesn't need to do anything other than hold values. Because the camera is going to be what picks it up. So it doesn't even need a start script. It's just going to have size fields. Camera bound. And I'm going to have private float min y value. And then I guess I need a max y value as well then, right? So it'll be min y value, max y value. And then I'm going to use like absolute y value. And by default, these are all going to be... what do I give them if I don't want it to be registered? I can just give them nothing, right? Like, can't floats are allowed to be nullable, yeah? Or can they not? I assume floats can be nullable. I mean, I can do this as well. But I'm pretty sure they can be nullable. Alright, and then I just copy this. And I do the same thing but for x. They default to 0. Okay, I'll question mark them then. Well, actually, I'll just check it first. I have 2 serialized fields here. Whoops. I'll slap this component here, camera bound. Max Y value, abs Y value. Oh, when I made it nullable, it doesn't even show up as a serializable field. What? Also, I misspelled camera bound script apparently. I put 2 N's in. I misspelled it. So if you make it nullable, that's annoying. Unity nullable serialized field. Unity doesn't serialize int question mark field. That's basically what I'm doing, but with floats. Nullable types are not serialized in Unity editor because its serializer doesn't support null. There's a small workaround if you're going to serialize this class to JSON. No, I don't care about that. So what can I do then? I can have booleans. That'd be so jank though. Oh, okay. You know what I can have? I can kind of work around it. All right. I'm gonna have. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have 2 floats. One's gonna be y value. One's gonna be x value, and I'm just gonna have a whole bunch of bools. Private bool, and it's gonna say y min, and I'm defaulting everything to false. And you know what? They're probably just already the defaults, right? So y min, y max, and y absolute. And then I copy the same stuff for x. And then I just toggle on the one that I care about. Because a bounding box should only ever supply 1, I think. Because if I need a min and a max, then I can just have 2 separate bounding boxes. These should be bools. Okay, so it's gonna look like, I mean, I don't know. This is kind of jank. I'm sure there's a way better way of doing this, but whatever. And then I go to the game object, and so we can basically, like for this one, for instance, right? Oh, it's kind of annoying for me to get the... I mean, I guess I do just have to get the position. Not that difficult. Like, I can literally just do, like I want this position here. I mean, I could freaking count it if I really wanted to. Just trying to think if there's like an easy way. Actually, is there? There probably is, right? Do you know if there's a way in the Unity editor to just like put your mouse over a position and see what the transform is? The transform position, I mean. The thing is, if I Google like get position at cursor, it's gonna tell me how to do it by script, which is not what I want. Like I want to know what the height is at this point. There's got to be a way to do that, right? Rect tool, scale tool, rotate, move, transform. Unity editor, view position at cursor. Mouse position in scene view. Oh, you can like make a thing to do it. You can just like write a script that does it for you in the editor. Fair enough. Yeah, the thing is I don't want to get it from script. I want to get it from the editor. So like I need to actually like draw those values to the editor. Because like what I want to know now, right, is how do I know like what value to apply to this bounding box? Because like if I drag it up, the hitbox goes with it, obviously. So I just have to like know what this is. And in this case, I do know it's like 2, 3, it's just 4. But yeah, apparently the way that people say to do it is just via a script. But in this case, I would want to do y value 4. Actually, I wouldn't even want to do it. I would want to set the min, right? Wait, no, that is correct. Yeah, I want the. Hold on. The real way to do this is to go player with the player camera and be like, where do I want the camera to sit at a minimum? And I probably want to sit like here. So this position is 5. Oh, it's like 6. It's 5.85, 5.86. So that's the actual value I want to give it. So we'll give it a value of 6 then. And I'll set it as the min value. Shouldn't go below that. Only one of these should ever be ticked. Man, this is kind of awful. Like, I'm realizing that there's gotta be a way better way of doing this. I can't believe I can't just nullable the serialized fields. That would be so much better. Because then you just ignore all the null values. Oh, that's goddamn annoying. And I can't like use 0 either. Because 0 could just be a valid value that I want. It's like, would even be like very common to be a valid value, I think. Alright, well, let's just like get it working first. That's like step number 1. Can we actually get it to work? So I need to, at any point, every update, I need to check to see if I'm inside a box collider. So how do I do this? Check to see if object is inside box collider Unity. Check if position is inside a collider. I probably have to use that. I probably have to put a collider on the camera, I imagine. If hit to test .collider.bounds.contains. I use a sweep test on my rigid body. I use distance and direction of my teleport location. Collider C, but then I have to pass in a collider. This is a sick remix. I didn't know that I needed the lo-fi Pokemon theme song, but here it is. Okay. What am I doing? All right. This hitbox, does it need to be on a rigid body to it does, right? I have to like actually also have a rigid body to detect the collisions. So that should be a box collider T as well then, right? Yeah, okay. Get out of here, box collider. I need box collider 2D. And rigid body 2D. And this is kinematic. Uses kinematic contacts. Let's reset this. Set it to like there. I want to give it a little bit of buffer. Okay, so basically, I put the kinematic thing on this, right? And then the camera also. But the camera, I don't care about actually having. I just want to see if I'm inside a collider. I can get all colliders with a tag, right? Add tag, and I just like add like camera bound. Surely I can just see if I'm inside a collider like this. And then I go to this. Oh, can I tag the parent with it? Does that cascades down, right? Oh, it doesn't. Lame. Okay, so it's tagged camera bound, and then in every fixed update, before I move the camera, I guess it could be the last thing I do. If I would move the camera to a position, oh, it's gonna be awkward as shit, isn't it? No, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It won't jump. So the last thing I do is find any. I can find by tag, right? Or can I not? Unity find colliders with tag. I mean, I could just manually do it. Problem is there's a lot of colliders and I don't want to get them all. I just want to get the ones that have the tag. I mean, maybe you just can't do that. Google is not helping me much with this. Unity, check if I'm inside a collider. I don't want to raycast. Surely there's a way to do this without raycasting. I don't want to use on trigger enter. I mean, maybe this is just not an applicable usage of box colliders. Which is, like, fair enough if that's the case. Bounds.contains? What is this? This requires me to have the collider, and that's the issue. Annoying. How do they do this normally? Like, is this really that difficult? I feel like this should have a really easy solution. And that I'm just kind of dumb. You know? You know? Yeah. It's like the overarching problem of snapping the camera. The big question is just, how do you tell the camera to not proceed past a point? And I thought using box colliders would be the easiest way. But the issue is I don't want to do any raycasting, ideally. I just want to check if my point's inside of one of these collider boxes. Like, I feel like I should be able to do that, but I don't know, it's proving not obvious. So I have this bounding box. It's a box collider with a rigid body. I mean, look, I could cast through the Z-axis, although I don't know if 2D colliders actually even care about the Z-axis. They probably don't. Okay, we'll try this, and I think it's really dumb, but it should work for now. Collider. Like, this is the dumbest shit ever. What is this sort mode object? Instance ID. Oh, no, I don't think I care about that. Find objects. Is type even the right thing to use here? Find objects. There's by type and of type. Retrieves a list of all loaded objects of type. Gets a list of all loaded objects of type. How are these any different? Like, am I crazy? This is the exact same thing. This one's deprecated. Alright, well that solves that problem. Again, collider. And then I have to pass in a find objects. What did it want me to pass in? Find objects sort mode. dot none. Okay, that's gonna get all the colliders in the scene, which is freaking stupid. Then I want to do a dot where tag is equal to camera bound. Yeah, I like that. So var, let's call it camera bounds. This will get me every single collider in the scene that is tagged as a camera bound. And then for each var collider in camera bounds, and I'm going to use just col. So now I have the colliders. I can use the function it was telling me to use earlier, which is contains. I can do col dot if col dot contains. No. What is this function? Oh, dot bounds, sorry. Col dot bounds dot contains. Sure. And then I pass in a point, right? And the point's gonna be the point of the camera. So it's gonna be translation. Ah, but it's here. I need to get it. Alright, well, let me just yoink. Paste. Problem solved. Alright, my PC freaked out for a second, but we're fine. Alright, if we contain translation, then I have to do logic now. Because now I have to check what kind of camera bound it is. So if I'm inside it, then I have to check. I can't even use a switch. I should probably just make it an enum. Rather than 6 booleans, let's just make it an enum. Actually, that's so much smarter. Why didn't I do that to begin with? Holy shit, this is brain dead. Private. Enum. And it's gonna have ymin, ymax, yabs, xmin, xmax, xabs. I can't remember how you write an equals, right? Oh, I need to give it a private enum bound types. Like that. Okay, and then what I actually need is serialized field, private bound types, called bound type. It should be bound type. Okay, and then I can select it based off of this, and now I can turn it into a case switch, and then it's just gonna be value. Alright, we have vastly simplified this. And now if I go back into Visual Studio and take a look at this object, what do I have? Camera, bound script. Lovely. Okay, I knew that I was being absolutely ridiculous. It just took me, like, actually trying to write it to figure it out. Where the hell are we? Okay, we need to go back into the camera class. Player camera. Okay, if it contains, now all I do is a switch statement. Switch on call.gets components camera bound, because it should have one. I need to make it public. Public. Remove this space. Public bound type. This is not gonna work though, is it? Yeah, because it's the same. Alright, let's just plural this. No, I freaking hate this though. Actually, I need to make this enum public anyway. Okay. Which I probably should put it elsewhere, but I guess. So now it'll let me do this, I think. Yeah, I thought so. Get set. How do I set these properly again? Player. Hold on, I'll get back to you in a moment. Get, and then you have to do more semicolons, right? Okay. Get, return, bound type. Oh, I actually don't want to make it settable. Let's just get. And then the same thing for value. Okay, done. We got there. All right, back to camera. Camera bound dot bound type. Case. Camera bound. Bound types. Bound type dot ymin. I'm just gonna check for ymin for now because that's all I actually care about. Break. Oh, I have to do this. Okay. Man, I don't know why I just literally can't do switch statements. Like, I can never remember how they freaking work. So case where it's ymin, then all we want to do is set our position to the ymin. Right? Yeah. So all we want to do is say transform dot position. Well, you know what? I can just translate it as well. I'll set it manually. Transform dot position is equal to a new vector 3, which is gonna be transform dot position dot x col dot value. Oh, I need to do this shit. Dot value, and then transform dot position dot z. All right, let's try it. Let's try and see if it works. It probably won't, but I think I'm going to cut this daily in a second. Yeah, it looks like it hasn't. Annoying. Let's... Okay, one last thing. I'm gonna do some quick debugging. Console log. For each collider and camera bounds, console.log. No, it's debug. Debug.log inside. Oh no, this is collider, and then this one's gonna be inside. I'm getting neither. So it's just straight up not even finding anything. Okay, interesting. This definitely has camera bound tagged. Find objects by type collider. Dot where x dot tag is equal to camera bound. Comparing tags using double equals is inefficient. I should probably take a look at that at some point. Alright, I think we'll resume this tomorrow. I'll figure this out tomorrow and we'll see if we can resolve it, but at the very least I think we got this camera bound script to where we want it to be, which is an enum makes like 50 times more sense than having 6 booleans. And then one singular value as well is pretty nice. I mean, it should have always been one value. I don't know why I had one for X and one for Y. Yeah, it didn't actually make any sense. Anyway. Alright, with that, I'm going to wrap it up for today. Thanks everyone who stopped by for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow to hopefully finish resolving this stuff. Oh yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that there's like an actually good way to do this, Julian, like absolutely, but yeah, I'm dumb as bricks, so I have to come up with some like really shoddy botch solution that is shit. Anyway, that's the joy of learning how to use someone else's toolkit, right? You just gotta work with the confines of Unity and figure it all out. So yeah. Alright, I am heading out. Have a good one. Catch you around.